When I quit my six-figure tech sales job, it took me an entire year to make my first $1,000 online. Knowing what I know today, especially with AI, I probably could get to $10,000 per month in 30 days. And as someone who has over 400,000 subscribers on YouTube, I see a ton of videos about how to make money with Claude. But most of them are way too focused on the technicals and code. And the reality for most people is building is not even the hardest part, because getting your first paying client is actually the most difficult. And if you're starting your AI journey now, you probably feel lost. Which direction should you go?
Right.
What business idea should you start? And how do you actually get your first paying client? So in this video, I'm going to share what I would do if I was trying to make my first $10,000 online in the next 60 days. All the way from finding your business idea to signing your first clients, even if you're busy working a 9-to-5 job. This is the advice I gave to one of my clients, Sandy, who went from zero knowledge in AI to over 50,000 YouTube subscribers, and she's making over $40,000 per month with her AI business. My other client, Allison, went from an assistant job to just signing $50,000 in new clients last month. And Brandon went from $750 per month to making over $10,000 per month 30 days after working with me. Not gonna lie, I got this down to a science. So of course, I'm gonna show you how to sign your first client. But first, let me show you the game plan on how you can do this even while you're busy working your 9-to-5 job.
Let's see what's going on. Put me on game. I love to get put on game. The game plan.
Now, the reason for why you haven't succeeded yet when it comes to making money with AI is a couple reasons. It's probably because you're jumping between different business ideas almost every week, right? Seeing another YouTube creator talking about something new, and you just can't stick with one thing. The other part is if you're busy working a 9-to-5, you probably can't manage your time properly, and it just feels like you don't have enough time, not enough energy to work on your own things. And the biggest
people, and honestly, the problem is, yes, you can use AI for a lot of things to help you with, but you also need to focus on just pushing through the pain sometimes. Like, it's like when you're playing football, you're playing basketball, and the coach is like, are you hurt or are you injured? Because those are two different things. Are you tired or are you just not feeling like doing it? So you just gotta push through it sometimes to really get the results that you want, because if you don't, you're gonna fall into the trap.
Was just trying to find random AI jobs. And the thing that really worked well for her was she found this one company. They were looking for someone to do SEO blogs, and she was able to close them with no experience, no testimonials, literally nothing. And she did this while managing her time as a full-time sales insurance manager and also taking care of 3 kids. So realistically, the first thing in really starting a business while working a 9-to-5 is managing your time. So how do you actually plan your week? If you were to look at a 40-hour per week work week, essentially it would look like this. From 9 a.m. to 5, so 9 to 5, you will be working your full-time job. And that's totally fine, right? You got to pay the bills and all that kind of stuff. Keep it, okay? You can do what I'm about to share with you while working your full-time job. Now, let's look at all the other hours that you have that aren't your full-time job. You have a full day on Saturday and Sunday. You have the mornings before your job. You also have the hours after your job. And for some of you guys, if you are working from home or your job is pretty chill, you probably can spend a couple hours doing.
And look at this time, all this time. And yes, you're going to be tired, but that's why you got to dedicate your life to doing it. Sometimes you're going to have to cut back on going out with friends. Sometimes you're going to have to cut back on drinking. Sometimes you're going to cut back on smoking. Sometimes you got to cut back on buying games and buying clothes, because you're putting it into your goal, into your craft. But this is a lot of time that you have to work with. So I don't want to hear any excuses about why it's so hard. We all have the same amount of time. And what you do with your time is your choice, and that's your options to do.
To get in front of clients, whether it's building your personal brand or reaching out. And most importantly, we're going to dive deep into actually how to close clients. And I'm even going to be doing a live sales role play, so you know exactly what to do and what to say once you're on that call. So if you want to sign up for that, I put a link in the description. And you want to hurry, because last time we had over 1,000 starting a business is a couple things. It's probably because you're spending way too much time researching or trying to make things perfect, and you're really just not starting. And you're spending all the time you have just doing the wrong things. And subconsciously, what you're actually doing is you're avoiding the real work that needs to be done. So I'm going to show you 3 steps that if you're able to complete these things, you will get your first paying client. So this comes from the Founder X model, which I created. And there's really 3 steps. It's very simple. If you can complete these 3 things, you can get your first client and eventually get to your first $10,000 per month in a matter of months if you really put in the work. Step number 1 is you just create an offer, meaning create something that you can sell. Right? And we'll go more into depth on exactly the business ideas and things you can sell. But the first step really is to have something to sell. It's not to build a personal brand, right? It's not doing a ton of research. It's just saying, hey, I want to sell this thing. Number two is going to be lead generation. There's really two ways to do lead generation if you're starting out. Number one, you just reach out to people you want to work with, whether it's on Upwork, LinkedIn, cold email, doesn't matter. Number two is building a personal brand so that people come to you and you have a little bit of credibility so that when you reach out to them, at least you're not like a nobody, right? And step number three is monetization. At the end of the day, your success will be determined by how many calls can you book every single month. If you can book, let's say 20 calls a month, you got to close at least one person, right? The problem for most people is they just have no idea how to get the meeting to get an opportunity to sell. But if you're able to complete these three steps from offer, lead generation, and monetization.
And this is really everything, even outside of using AI, this is really what you need to do. Just be creating something that's either as a course, mentorship, membership, selling a product, something that's important to somebody or something that someone will buy. And then all you have to do is generate leads from there. But the most important part is finding something that people want. Because you don't want to go into like a small niche. You want to go into a broader niche where more people are interested in it. Like you don't want to go into lacrosse. You want to go into football. More people are interested in football than lacrosse. But also with lead generation, that's where you can get creative. How can I rank this? The lead generation is definitely the hardest. The offer is the second hardest. Once you get them on the phone, it's kind of easy to get people locked in as long as you know what you're doing.
You will get your first client. That's really all it is. And if you want to scale from your first client to $10,000 per month, you really don't have to do anything new. You just have to repeat the process again and again and again. And that's how you can scale to $10,000 plus. Even for us, we do over $100,000 per month right now. And to be honest, I'm just following this step that I'm recommending you guys. We have an offer. We have a way to generate leads. For us, it's more about personal branding and YouTube. And we have a way to monetize. To make more money, what do we need to do? More lead generation, right? More emails, and you can actually contact them. And I want to introduce you to Dot Online, which is actually our partner for this video. So Dot Online is actually a domain that you can actually use to register your website. So for example, I could have patrickdane.online. Now, why this is interesting is because hard for many people is because you are probably overwhelmed with too many different options. You're waiting for the perfect idea that fits you, but there's never really anything perfect. And maybe you've even tried other business ideas and you just got burned and you were like, oh man, this stuff doesn't work.
And that's exactly what people are thinking. The amount of people I run to every day that say these things are overwhelmed, too much things to do. You got to pick one, just focus on what interests you the most. People have always try to choose, it's gonna make me the most money, it's gonna make me the most money. What are you interested in doing? Because if you're not interested in doing it, then it doesn't matter. Waiting for the perfect idea is another one, because there is no perfect idea. You think the people that do HVAC that they thought it was the perfect idea? No, but it ended up working because people need HVAC. These are like necessary companies. So it's never going to be perfect or pretty. Sometimes you got to get your hands dirty, but it's a lot of profit and a lot of possibility in a lot of these ideas that you gloss over and look over. And then burned by other business models. Every business is going to fail. Well, not every business is going to fail. Your first couple of businesses are going to fail. And that's supposed to happen so you know how to run a business. Because if every business just succeeded on the first try, you would fail eventually because you don't know what you're doing. Like, you're just doing shit. You know how many things I've learned from when I first started doing social media and first started business till now? I learned a lot of things.
Results. Now, step two of the offer triangle is who do you sell it to? The most important part, if you want to make money with AI and you want to sell like to businesses, for example, is you need to find people who are able and willing to spend money. If they're not able to spend money, meaning they're broke, don't go after them. I have a lot of clients who are starting out and they always tell me like, I want to go for the individual coach or the individual real estate agent. And I'm like, well, what are the chances they're going to pay you $5,000 a month for your ghostwriting? It's like zero practically, right? Because they don't make any money. Why not just sell to a business that has money and they're looking for some kind of AI person to help them out, right? And a lot of times beginners don't have confidence because they think they have to start from the bottom of the barrel, but that's not true. I have a lot of my clients, they just jump straight to the top. So for example, one of my clients, Allison, she was selling ERP automations. If you don't know what that is, doesn't matter. It's like AI automations. And she doesn't really have much experience doing it, but she just cold DM people on LinkedIn and she was able to make like more than 50K the last month selling these kind of automations. And she didn't really have that much experience or credentials. She just chose a market that had a painful problem. And because there's not a lot of people selling the same thing, people are willing to talk to her. Now, the third piece of the offer triangle is going to be pricing. How much do you actually charge? So I like to work backwards from pricing, meaning if you're going to sell B2B, you might as well just sell high ticket, right? I've tested this myself. If you were to sell something for $500 a month, you would think that it's easier to sell something at $500 per month compared to $5,000 per month. Right. It's actually the same difficulty because a person who's willing to pay $500, they don't have money. So if you're taking $500 a month from them, it feels like a lot. If you're selling something that is costing $5,000 a month, but it's to a big company, it's a drop in the bucket. So if you can get in—
that is true. That honestly is a good way to think about it. And when you're working with businesses, they're more willing to spend money. And working with people, I currently work with people and get money from people. I teach them mentors, courses, memberships. I do a lot. It's difficult because a lot of people aren't trying to spend that money. A lot of people have different things going on. So I honestly agree with what he's saying.
In the door with a company that's able and willing to spend, you can actually charge based on perceived value. And perceived value just means how much does the buyer think it's worth. If you're doing some LinkedIn ghostwriting, for example, and you got them one client and that one client's worth $50,000 and they only paid you $5,000 a month, that's a 10x return on investment on one client. If you sign 2 clients at that price range, that's literally 20x return on investment. And this works because one of my clients, Brandon, he actually works in the construction space, and I basically helped him go from practically zero to making 10K per month in 30 days. And how we did it was he targeted construction companies in the glazing industry. And glazing just means like those fancy wine cellars, fancy bathrooms, like they use a lot of glass in these construction jobs. And each construction job that they do, the cheapest is 15K, but it could go all the way to 50K, even over 100K per job. And so what he does is he writes their content and he coaches the founder on how to make video content, basically just content marketing for LinkedIn, right? And you could use a lot of AI to help write the scripts. And again, it's like AI is not really the big part of it. It's just delivering the results. How you do it is just using AI to make it easier for you, right? And just DMing people on LinkedIn and hitting up these companies that are already really big, but they don't have a social media presence. He was able to make $10,000 in 30.
You know what's crazy? That's how I first started making my money. That's literally how I first started making my money. I think I dipped out of social media marketing. I think I'm going to dibble back in social media marketing. I think I'm going to get back into it and go hard with it because a lot of people do still to this day do not know how to market themselves. So I think I'm going to go hard with it and I'm going to make it happen. I think this is my calling.